I'm Greg D. Doug. I started working at a public policy think tank. I've met really fun, smart people working to solve big problems. I asked some of them if they'd come talk about their work and how good public policy makes the world a better place. And all they asked for in return was pizza.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, Paige.
What's up?
Want to get some pizza?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Paige Terryberry.
That's right.
So, do you want to tell us how you got started in public policy? Like, what sort of drew you to this stuff? I mean, it's a pretty unique field.
Actually, Greg, since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to study state budgets. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so first of all, I'm from North Carolina. I majored in math. That kind of led me to pursue economics.
Okay.
And I thought economics was a great way to kind of explain how the world works.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with my dad on my parents were building a new house, and he was saying, oh, you know, if I wanted to sell or give this house to you, it's not as easy as that. Like, you'd still have to pay taxes on it. And I'm going, that doesn't sound right. Like, it's a gift. Why would I have to keep paying taxes on it? Right. And so that's kind of, I just remember conversations like that. And then, of course, I went through what I think everybody goes through. You know, you get your first paycheck, and you look at it and you're like, what? And then I remember thinking, wow, this is a ripoff.
Yeah.
You know, you told me I was getting paid, you know, $8 an hour or whatever it was.
Yeah, and you got $8.
It's not what it was.
You like pizza, right?
I like pizza. I don't love pizza. I think that pizza is not a meal.
Well, we'll check. I'm pretty sure this Vic's is a full-on restaurant, so we'll be able to get you like an actual like salad course, some raviolis.
I think I'd rather eat just cheese than pizza.
We can change it. This episode can be policy cheese. And we just go eat a bunch of cheese.
I would love that. I would love that.
So Paige, I'm happy that you're going to have pizza with us.
Yes.
And not like skip out on the pizza. It's part of the
Very excited.
Part of the whole show.
Very excited. So it's really important, just as it's important for you to live within your means and for me to live within my means and not spend more than I make. Governments is the same thing. But where it's different for governments, where it's different than it is for you and I, is that it's not their money. So it's so much easier to spend someone else's money, right? Like, you earned this money, you want to keep it, you're very smart with it, you check the price tag for things, but when it's someone else's money, it's easier to kind of run away with it.
Yeah, because it could be endless.
Right.
You don't know. And so, yeah, in a state budget, like, where's the money coming from and where is it going?
So primarily, we get revenue through the personal income tax, that's a big one, and then sales and use tax. So like the food we just ordered, we're going to pay, might pay a sales and use tax for anything that you buy. The state gets their money through those two sources primarily.
Okay.
So you're paying gas tax for to fill up your car, and that's going to pay for the roads. Your property tax at the local level, that is going to pay for the fire departments and police stations. So it's not all the same bucket. There's a lot of different buckets for different spending.
So like a lot of room to be a little tricky with stuff.
Yes. The two biggest spending items for the general fund are education and then health and human services. That makes it the most of the general fund. But of course, most of this money is going to paying people. So education, yes, but that's employing people, you know, employing people at the UNC system, K-12 and community college.
What do you mean when you say the general fund?
Yeah, so the general fund is what the North Carolina state legislature has control over. So that's where our elected representatives, that's the money that they can control, that we can vote on, that they can appropriate. Having fiscally responsible leadership in the General Assembly has allowed us to restrain our budgets and to be fiscally responsible, which has enabled us to give money back to the taxpayers, which is a great thing because that grows the economy. So in 2013, we enacted tax reform, cut taxes, gave more to especially the lowest income by increasing the standard deduction, which is the lowest zero income tax bracket. And all
so for a long time, there's no taxation on people's income up until they get to a certain level.
Exactly. So the first, however much you make, no taxes paid on that. That's a great thing, especially for lower income households. So tax reform worked for North Carolina. We went from having really high unemployment to being one of the best states in terms of unemployment.
Everything's getting more expensive. Everybody feels it, every level. Just straight from you, you're the expert. Like, where does inflation come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that everybody's feeling, especially working families. And there's millions of theories going around, right, about what inflation is and where it comes from. But with the coronavirus pandemic, with COVID, the government stood between people and their jobs. You know, shut down gyms, shut down restaurants. This restaurant was probably shut down.
Right.
So the government stood between people and their willingness to work and their willingness to make money. So that caused obviously a huge economic downturn with COVID. So to try to help people out, the government injected a lot of money into the economy.
Okay.
We spent over a quarter of our GDP in COVID relief.
It's crazy.
Right? It's wild. That's a lot of money, and that comes with consequences, right? So just like we were talking about with this tax and spend, you know, free money is really easy to sell. Oh, this is free money will help you. And obviously, some people really did need those stimulus checks right away. Some of those businesses relied on those loans to survive.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the money never stopped. It kept coming. We kept extending and extending these benefits. People were on unemployment for a very long time. Some people who didn't need to be, some people who very much did need to be.
Right, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. So at the end of the day, inflation, as economist Milton Friedman said, is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. This means that it's not a fiscal issue, it's not related to taxes. It's created by pumping money into the economy.
But no, thank you for explaining it like that, because like these things, like they get talked about in the news and stuff like that, and it becomes a cerebral thing.
Right.
You know, almost normal.
Right.
But it is affecting people's lives,
and you feel it at the grocery store, feel it at the gas pump.
Yeah. People are having to change their lives.
Right.
Well, thank you, Paige, for for sharing some pizza and teaching us about inflation. And
awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. No, thanks for coming.
If you'd like to learn more about inflation and the North Carolina budget, check out the links in our description or go to johnlocke.org.